Hello everyone, my name is Kate Marshall. My channel name is called Inked Paper Art. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is day one of 365 days of junk journal ideas. These are tricks, tips, techniques, pieces of ephemera we can make, everything from beadwork, metalwork, mixed media, play, tassels, dangles, charms. If it can go in a journal, decorate a journal, or it's about making a journal, we will do it here. Today is day one. We're going to make faux aged tape. I'm going to show you my favorite ways of making it, tricks, techniques that I've learned along the way. So that's what we're going to be making today. There is a new video that comes out on the channel every single day. If you don't want to miss a video, please click that subscribe button now. And let's get started on making our faux aged tape. I'm going to show you all of the supplies that you need. All the supplies are also linked in the description box below the video. The very first thing that we're going to need is we're going to need Scotch transparent tape. This is the one that I use. It is linked down below. It is 3/4 of an inch by 1,000 inches on a roll. And this is the one from Scotch. I like to put the tape in a tape roll dispenser because I like the torn edge that the little teeth give me. If you don't want to use this does come in little plastic disposable rolls also. I generally use a lot, so I get the big roll. So anyway, we're going to need tape. This tape is important. Scotch tape that comes in many different forms. You want the one that says transparent. You don't want invisible. You want the one that says transparent. That's the most important thing. The second thing that we're going to need are from Ranger Tim Holtz, the alcohol ink line. Okay, and so I have one pack here. They are latte, ginger, and caramel. That is the colors of them, latte, ginger, and caramel. So we're going to need those. You're also going to need an ink dauber tool. You're not going to use the one that you use your ink pads. You're going to take off your normal one, and you're going to put on either one of these will work. This one is a foam one, and it is meant for ink, alcohol ink. So if you have a foam one, that's the one you want to use. If you don't have a foam one and you only have the domed blending ones, it will work, but this works better. So we're going to use that one. And then for other supplies, the only other thing I will recommend, two things actually. You need some type of paper to stick your tape to. And so what I have here is just the backing from a sticker. It was a large sheet of stickers, like shipping labels, whatever. This is just the thing you would throw away normally. It's sticker paper where it will not stick to it, right? Like the sticker doesn't stick to it, the tape's not going to stick to it. So we need that. So then the only other thing that I will recommend is, because we're using alcohol inks are permanent. They can be kind of messy. You want to protect your work surface with something that you can just, throw away when you're done. So if you're going to be doing a whole lot of this, you might want to turn a fan on, open a window. It's totally fine to do several sheets the way I'm going to do it right here. So you want something to protect your surface. You have your ink colors here. They come, when I purchased mine, they came in a 3-pack that had the caramel, the ginger, and the latte. If you are only looking at buying one alcohol ink on its own, the one that I will recommend to you is caramel. My favorite one is caramel, but I will show you all 3 of them. We can kind of talk about that too. And I have made some tape ahead of time that I can show you. And so the next thing we're going to want to do is get your sticker paper, this kind of thing. If you don't have this, you can try sticking it to, this is a parchment paper. It's kind of a waxed parchment paper. You just want something that you can stick your tape to and then be able to peel your tape back off of. So a transparency, something plastic, all different kinds of things you can peel tape back off of. You're going to be good with that. I just happen to have these, sticker backings. So I'm going to use those. And then my tape dispenser with my transparent, remember, transparent tape in there. And then I'm going to put my little foam on here. This is going to be super quick little video, but we're going to get this done, and you're going to love the way these look when they are done. So first things first, you want to take out your tape and stick it, sliding everywhere. You're going to want to take your tape off your dispenser and stick it to whatever it is you're sticking your tape to. Now, I put this on deliberately crooked because I wanted to show you my thing is so non-stick that I can work out air bubbles if I get air bubbles. I'm not concerned about air bubbles. I'm just showing you the more non-stick your surface is, the better. And so the next thing you do is you just stick your tape down, and I'm just going to do a little sheet. Like, I'm not worrying about sticking this perfectly at the moment. I'm just going to do a little sheet right here with you guys. Kind of make this video a short video. So I'm sticking down long pieces of tape, and you can see I'm not being too careful. The only thing I'm really, pressing down, that's really the only thing I'm concerned about. Then I did some long ones at the top. I like the short ones. The short ones give you that cut edge from your tape dispenser. And so I like to do a section of short ones. And if you're like me and you're sticking this on your paper, it's kind of hard to see where you've stuck them and where you didn't stick them. So just kind of be wary of that. And it is better to try to stick them in a straight line as much as you can. So I've done some short ones. Now I'm going to go back if I can. This one doesn't want to tear off. If I can, and do a long one. And if you go off the edge, it's okay. I got a little bit of ink there. If you go off the edge, it's totally fine. And then we're going to stick our last piece on here, and we're good. So we've stuck tape down to our transparency. You guys can see the tape on there. I've stuck it in lines. Then we're going to take our alcohol ink. So for this, I'm going to start with Latte. Latte is the lightest color of the three of them. And there are many different ways of doing this, but I'm just going to show you my favorite way, the way that I think looks the best. So some people will put little drops down. Some people will put a whole line. Some people put it on here and blend it on there. Alcohol ink doesn't really blend on tape. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it is you just put a big line of alcohol ink down. I'm going to kind of put a little more because this is a brand new dauber and this is the first piece we're doing. You don't want to push. You're not trying to blend. You're not going in a circular motion. You're literally just dragging your foam down the tape. You only really get one try. This dries very, very quickly. And so you're trying to cover your whole piece of tape and you get what you get, right? That's one technique, just kind of lightly dragging it across. This color that we just did is Latte. So I'm going to quit with Latte and I'm going to show you the next color. And then we'll talk about some more techniques. The next one is Ginger. And so here's Ginger. You'll see, these are different shades, different colors. And you'll have to pick which one you like the best. I've told you my favorite one is the caramel. I think it just looks the most like original aged tape. And so what I do is I focus on that first edge there, and then I kind of from that point drag across. And I'm trying to cover the top and the bottom of my piece. And I'm going to show you right here on this one. If you kind of let it dry and you're like, oh, I don't really like, a little bubble or whatever right here, and you come back and you try to blend, it dries so quick, there's no blend time. Like, you can't blend. If you go back and you put more on, it will react to itself. So if you put like a little bit on, it will react kind of like Yupo, but a little bit different. It does react. And from here, you could let these spots dry and just, have tape that has spots on it like that. Old tape often does have spots on it like that. You can try to blend out your spots a little bit. You can see that one kind of blended a little bit. This one is still wet and you can kind of pounce around and get a different kind of a look. It doesn't have to be straight across like this first one we just did straight across. You could add a little bit of texture or pattern, you could do that. But if you try to blend again and go across, it removes because alcohol ink wet will remove other alcohol ink. So just be aware of that. It's better, in my opinion, to just do that straight line across. Then if you want to add, let that dry for a few minutes and then add color after that. So I've got multiple colors on here. It doesn't matter. You can turn your little dauber around if you don't want them to mix. The next one I'm going to use is my favorite. It's caramel. Unfortunately, this bottle is also very leaky, but we're going to make it through. So there's caramel. Caramel just is the perfect color blend of the first two. This one is very straw-like in color. Then ginger is obviously more red. And then the third one, the caramel, is a very nice mixture of both of those. And so you'll see that I kind of started in the beginning and kind of got it all blended on my brush, my little dauber, pulled it across. But if you move quickly, which is my other tip, move quickly. Don't put it on and let it dry. Don't think you're going to come back to this in a few minutes and change it. It dries so quick you can't. So put it on and go across. So let me do it again. And this time I'm going to do little dots here and here. It's going to work out about the same. And then with this one, I want to show you what going in a circular pattern does. So if you work it in a circular pattern, you're going to get the little circular movements of your dauber on your tape. It also does not come out as dark. So if I hold this up to you, it doesn't come out as dark, and you can see here the little circular movements. In my opinion, if you swipe it across, it looks the best. But see, if you go back and you're like, oh, I want to blend a little more. No, and in fact, it will remove. So the good thing about doing this project is if you don't like an area, you can always put more on and go over it again. If you want it to be super blotchy like that, then just let it dry like that and it'll be like that. Let's go ahead and do this next row and let that dry. So the next row is little pieces of tape. It's not a whole piece, it's a little piece, right? And so I got the nice edge from the tape dispenser on there. And so you'll notice I'm barely dragging, like no pressure, just dragging across here. The lighter the pressure that you use, I think is better. I didn't quite get enough on this one, so I'm going to let it dry for a second before I try to reapply. Because if you put it on right now, it's pretty much just going to erase what you already have. So I'm going to let this one dry for a few minutes before I try it again. Very light pressure going across. It's a little too much pressure. If you're quick, you can try it again. I have a little more on here. I got a little bit more. Not really. So I'm going to add a drop. One more drop on that one, just a second. Let's see what we got here. We have a long one here. Goodness, guys, we're going to have some gorgeous tape to play with. And if you haven't ever played with faux age tape or age tape before, you will find all different manner of uses for it. It's kind of like washi tape. It's decorative. You can add it like it's utilitarian. You can use it as tape, but it's also decorative. You could just add it where pieces where you don't really need to stick down anything. But like washi tape, you just want something with pattern, color, texture, fun. So this one, I'm really trying to go light. Light pressure equals darker ink, in my opinion. Now I do have some, and I'm going to try one more time. I got a little more color on that one. I might get a little more on that one. And you get what you get. If you get a dark spot like this splotchy one, that's going to look really awesome. It's just a different look. So you guys can play around with this. We don't have any more tape to play with. You guys can play around with this at home and see how you like it. Again, Latte was my favorite. And I used Scotch transparent tape. Everything is linked below, but make sure it's transparent. And let me show you the other ones that I have been playing with real quick. So I did this one. This is my typical one. This is exactly how I do a sheet. I do some long and some little pieces. And then I did this one. And you'll see my tape wasn't quite stuck down right here. The little edge was up, so some ink got underneath. Totally fine. And then this one, I was doing a whole bunch of different things. This is the first color. This is Latte. This is Ginger. And then from here down is my favorite color. And I was doing different, I was trying to come up with different patterns, whatever. But there's more fun to be had by playing with this. And you're like, okay, well, show us some that you can use, right? So I'm going to take one of these pieces of tape and I'm going to stick it to a piece of Tim Holtz EPHEMERA. Okay, so I've got a Tim Holtz vintage photograph, and I've got a coffee dyed index card, which is going to be a journaling card. So I'm going to show you quickly a very basic example of how to use these. So you would glue down your picture, and you would take a piece of tape, any piece of tape that you want to peel off of here. And then once it's dry, you can also cut this and tear this and do anything else that you want to do with it. You would glue down your photo, but for this little demonstration here, I'm just going to show you what the aged tape looks like when stuck down. So I've got a piece there, and I've got another piece here, and it's super, super fun to play with. And I'm just going to stick this one. I'm actually going to go right over that 1940 there. And so it just gives you a different look. It looks old. Now, if you took the time to ink around your photo and everything else, it would look much better. Add a little label, etc., etc. But this is just a quick example of how to use your faux aged tape. Thank you for joining me today, and come back tomorrow and see what new idea we're going to play with. Thanks, guys. Bye.